1, 2, 3. Good. Taking photos. Hey everyone, I have with me the Sony A9 Mark II, and usually this is known for a sports/wildlife camera, but today I'm actually using it for portraits. And I think the coolest feature is the no blackout screen, silent shutter. And Lupe, you mentioned to me earlier, because I thought the no shutter sound would have the opposite effect, such as, for example, the model won't know when to change their pose. But Lupe, what were you saying earlier with the camera not having a shutter sound?
In my opinion, I really like the no shutter sound because it makes every movement feel a little more fluid, as opposed to constantly hearing the shutter noise go off and stopping and then moving, then stopping and then moving. But as long as you hear when they're starting to take pictures, it feels a little more fluid and easy. Less anxiety.
Less anxiety, yeah. So it's kind of like I'm kind of filming you in a way, and then I'm just pulling the different frames off the video as pictures.
Exactly.
That could be seen as that. And of course, Lupe, you're no stranger to the channel. This is actually your 4th time here on Guam Photography. For those of our viewers that are new, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi everybody, my name is Guadalupe Hamamoto. I've been shooting and doing photography or modeling for about 4.5, maybe almost 5 years now. This is my 4th time shooting with James, like he said. Social platforms, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, all under Miss Lupe Marie, which will be posted below.
Yes, it'll be on the screen, of course, in the description below.
Yes.
And as always, we really appreciate you always helping us out, test different cameras and lenses. And I'm shooting with a new lens today, the 100mm STF G Master lens from Sony, but the focus will primarily be on the Sony A9 Mark II, and later on we'll do a review on the lens. So your opinion so far of the pictures coming out?
I'm kind of in love at this point because with most cameras they do have a shallow and a deep depth of field. With the shallow field, you do notice that even the background pictures or the background colors are still just as vibrant as the person in the forefront or the main focus in the forefront. So that I really like. Yeah,
I was telling you earlier off camera that one of the main features of this camera is it prioritizes exposure to your face. So the eye autofocus is really good, and once it senses your face, it exposes for it correctly, and I guess at the same time it makes sure that your exposure of yourself is good without making the background so dark or so bright. Yeah. Okay, we still have a lot of time left, and I think 2 more outfits after this, so we'll keep on shooting. Good, turn to your right a little bit. So you'll notice in the video, I'll be comparing the A9 Mark II against the regular A9. With the A9 Mark II, you do have better ergonomics. The grip is actually a bit more beefier. It feels better in the hands compared to the regular A9. The top dial exposure compensation has a lock on it. That's so when you're shooting portraits, you don't accidentally bump it, and then without paying attention, you'll be wondering how come all your shots are overexposed. The dial next to the exposure compensation dial on A9 Mark II, it kind of sticks out, so it's easier to see and turn. On the left hand side, you have, I believe, the focus mode dial here, continuous focus, or if you just want to do single shot, it actually has a lock on it as well. And great weather sealing compared to the A9. Also, the touchscreen remains unchanged in A9 Mark II. You can only double tap to zoom in, and move around the focus point, but you can't use the touchscreen to swipe and move pictures. This location is getting a little bit too much with all the mosquitoes and bugs around, so we may move across the street to shoot. Okay, 3/4 body shot. Where am I stepping? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, a couple more. Some internal features about the A9 Mark II versus the regular A9. They both have the same backside illuminated stack sensor, 24 megapixels. The A9 Mark II can do 10 frames per second mechanical, versus the A9 can only do 5 frames per second mechanical. But both cameras can do 20 frames per second electronic shutter. Also has 693 face detection points. It remains unchanged for the A9 Mark II. The EVF, which is 3.69 million dots with 0.78x magnification, remains also unchanged for the A9 Mark II. The rear LCD screen, which is 1.44 million dots, and the touch functions of it also remain unchanged. It hasn't been updated for A9 Mark II. What has been updated is the memory cards for the A9 Mark II. Both slots are UHS 2 compatible, versus the A9, which only had one slot that's UHS 2. So we're gonna head down to another location and change outfits. So additional internal features is the NP-FZ100 battery also remains the same. I believe the Sony A9 Mark I was the first to have this battery. This battery is pretty awesome. The battery life I'm experiencing is pretty good so far. They say for the A9 Mark II has a little bit more efficient battery. For example, if you're just using the LCD, you can get around 690 shots, versus the A9 you can only get 650 shots, somewhere around there. Also, 4K video remains unchanged. It's 4K video internally records 8-bit and 100 megabits per second, but we're going to have a video test soon with the Fujifilm X-T4, which can record internally 10-bit at 400 megabits per second, and both will be at 4K 30 frames per second. Lupe is coming here with their second outfit. Change the 100mm STF to the 24-105, and one cool feature is automatic shutter. Automatically closes the shutter to protect the sensor from dust. Okay, that's a pretty cool feature. Only the A9 Mark II as of July 2020 has that feature.
Eye autofocus test. Both cameras really do a good job in tracking Lupe, especially when Lupe goes off screen and comes back in. I do notice that the Sony A9 Mark II focuses a little bit slower, but once it locks onto Lupe's face, it sticks. So in this scene, you're going to see Lupe move off, and then when she comes back in, notice the Sony having a harder time locking focus, but it's sticky. X-T4 kind of goes back and forth with the focus, but still, both is really good. But if I have to say the winner, who's the winner? The winner will be the A9 Mark II. Next is the image stabilization. As you can see, both lenses have IS on, but man, the Fujifilm X-T4 is really stabilized while we were both walking with Lupe. Fujifilm has really done an awesome job over the years improving their image stabilization.
So far in the photo shoot, halfway through the shoot, I do like, I'm still getting used to it, but the no blackout silent shutter is really something to get used to. I'm so used to always hearing the click and the model hearing the click and changing her pose. But Lupe, you're doing very good. I don't even have to tell you, you just change your pose. I guess when I say, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, that's good, you just change your pose and I just take the shot. And of course, like Lupe said before, it gives you less anxiety. Yeah, and I just changed my lens to the 24-105 just to do the video recording test. And as I showed you earlier, the shutter covers the sensor while changing, so no bugs like we have a lot here right now, or dust gets on the sensor. Color science does look good, but honestly, when I compare it to the Fujifilm, I do like the color coming out for an X-T4 better for the video. It looks really good, even though I did set the contrast to -1, saturation +1, and sharpness +1, and that creative style also affects the video, but just looking at the video from the X-T4, it looks really good. Cons for the camera so far, I've been shooting RAW this whole time. There's no setting for small or medium RAW sizes. Oh, your phone. Oh my gosh. It fell face forward.
It's okay.
It's okay, yeah.
Androids are built like bricks.
Androids?
Yeah.
But I think iPhones are better though.
I love Apple, but this one has a lot more memory, so I'm okay with that. And it has external hard drives too.
It's true. I'll just keep quiet if I want Lupe to continue to model for us.
Might get mad.
Yep.
I like the camera quality on that though. The camera
It's good.
quality is way better on Apple than it is on Android.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah. So one more outfit. Go down to the beach, do some more shots down there. Mention that the buttons of the A9 Mark II, it's really good. The menu feels like so solid. When you press it, it has a very satisfying feel. The dial, when you move pictures, you can see I took a lot of shots, so right now it's clearing to the cards. I only have the UHS 1 cards right now. The UHS 2 cards are coming in. But yeah, just like the wheel at the back feels solid. The joystick here feels really solid as well. The AF-on, the focus, some people use this for focus, super solid. So overall, Sony really did a good job with the A9 Mark II and making the buttons feel really like DSLR-like. It feels like my old, had a Nikon D850 before. It feels like that, the buttons really solid. Even the buttons up here too, really good. Okay, so the function button, I would just put this on JPEG. Again, using UHS 1 cards. Autofocus continuous, it's on high, and no blackout whatsoever. All you see is a black screen around it. That means you're taking the photo. And man, the buffer is pretty good. I think last time I tested this and stopped, it was like 380, 400 photos. But right now it's still taking a lot of photos and it hasn't filled up yet. Still going? Okay, now stop. Yeah, 375, 376, and it's just slow to write to the card because, again, I don't have the UHS 2 cards, but yeah, buffer is amazing, and I don't think you really need this for portrait photography, but just wanted to show you guys. Okay, we're done with our photo shoot now. Just to let you hear what the mechanical shutter sounds like. It sounds like this. It is a newer shutter, rated up to 500,000 shots, and it just started to rain. For some reason, every time we do a shoot with Lupe, it either starts to rain or it rains. But overall, what do you think about the photo shoot, the photos?
Overall, it's really fun. You know, I really liked getting to see the outcome of the raw photos with the shallow depth and the brightness and comparison of the colors behind me. So that was a really nice plus. On top of it, the shutter speed, I cannot stress this. I love the shutter speed because it makes my motions feel a little less filled with anxiety. You know, it's more free flowing. I don't have to worry about stopping and then running out of poses.
Yeah.
You know, it's really soothing for me, in my opinion.
And we're playing music while shooting, so you're focused on the music, you're moving to the music versus like just hearing the click, 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 like, okay, what pose to do next, and you can just go with the music, and I just take the shots.
It's like a dance party video photo shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, all the movements are just more free flowing. That's how I like it. You know, without that shutter speed in between, not the shutter speed, the blackout screen in between.
No blackout at all. It's just like you're watching a video.
It makes it seem like one of those animated photos on, I think it's on iPhone,
Yeah.
where you can just push play on a live photo, and that's exactly how it feels. You know.
Thank you, of course, for helping us out. Appreciate it as always.
I love these.
And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel, and of course follow Lupe on all of our social media. Bye. See you in the next video.
Peace out.
Hey everyone, we are home now. Let's take a look at some raw files from the Sony A9 Mark II. All the raw files you're going to see have been unedited and untouched. So looking at the first file for Lupe, I just want to let everyone know that I'm using Adobe Color as a color profile. If I use camera standard, it becomes a little bit too green for my taste, but it's really up to you. So I use Adobe Color. And I just want to comment on the latest color science from Sony, the A9 Mark II and A7R4. It is really, really great. When I used to use Sony with the A9 Mark II and the A7R2, I didn't really like the colors. It's more towards like the greenish side of things. Now I see the colors similar to Canon, a little bit more magenta, but this is straight out of the camera that you're looking at. It looks really nice. Zooming in, a lot of detail. This is primarily from the STF lens I was using. Very sharp. The bokeh in the background looks like I'm using a blur filter in Photoshop that you just put behind Lupe and makes the image look really 3D. Next example I want to show you, lowering down highlights. You can get a lot of detail back on Lupe's wardrobe. Let me do a reset here. Increasing shadows, even increasing exposure. I do not see any banding whatsoever. While shooting Lupe using only electronic shutter, and also no warping whatsoever. It feels like when I'm shooting electronic shutter, it feels like I'm using the mechanical shutter, except that it's of course quiet. It's like I'm watching a live video and then I'm just pressing the button to select the frame from the video. Next photo I want to show you, again, no editing whatsoever. If you do a little bit of vibrance, maybe some contrast, lower down some highlights, shadows, exposure a little bit, do a little bit of clarity maybe. I mean, this picture comes to life already. Really great job that Sony did in doing the color science for the latest Sony cameras. Really good. Last photo I want to show you. This again is raw. Oh, yes, unedited, and all I did for this is lower down the exposure -1. And if some of you are wondering about the lens, because I'm gonna try to do a full review on the lens soon, because man, the bokeh coming from this lens is super nice, very smooth. It's always gonna show 5.6 even though the lens is a 2.8. I believe the reviews were saying the anodized filter actually makes a lot of light loss. So the T-stop, the transmission of light, is actually a 5.6 and not a 2.8. But still, just looking at this picture, again, the colors, everything blends with Lupe's wardrobe. I like how the dead grass mixed with the greens in her wardrobe. It's really nice. And again, this is unedited. I haven't done anything to this photo. I know the A9 Mark II is for sports and wildlife and events, but I was really looking for all-around camera that I can also use for portraits and my event photography on the side, and I think I may stick with the A9 Mark II for a while. Battery life, after using the A9 Mark II in a shoot, I think I had 70% left. It didn't even reach halfway, so battery life is amazing. I think the best battery life I've used with any mirrorless camera, to be honest. But man, yeah, you can get away with portraits with this. Like Lupe said, it actually decreases her anxiety, so she doesn't really hear the shutter clicking all the time. And I guess when models hear that, they're kind of forced to change their pose, but she can just listen to music and flow with the music and just dance to the music, and I'll be the one, of course, trying to capture the poses and angles that I think that looks good of her. Hey everyone, thanks for watching Guam Photography, and if you haven't, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.